What do aliens eat for dinner? Was the question. So, a couple things. One, um, aliens, when we talk about that, I'm referring to galactics and extraterrestrials for this question, but mostly galactics. Aliens is a word that we have to slowly shift from. It's got lower vibrational energy connected to it. And most of them you'll find actually prefer to be called galactics, extraterrestrials, things that are more resonant with their experience. Um, and and that's just something that comes up when different labels are used. I try to remind people, remember that a lot of the labels we're trying to shift away from to more positive words, words that don't have negativity attached to them. And that's the human way of experiencing. So sooner or later, we may end up shifting from galactics to a different word and that sort of thing. But just an awareness. And then what do they eat for dinner? Everything. Everything. Depends on the species, depends on the being. Some beings will eat fruits and vegetables only. I had a Sasquatch once tell me that she loved lettuce and carrots. Lettuce and carrots. That was what she loved. Some beings eat meat, meat as much as the spiritual community will often vilify meat. It's actually not the case. It's not to be vilified. The meat we have today is a problem for many reasons, and we could go into different things, toxicity, the way it's cared for, all this different stuff. But on other worlds, in other spaces, they eat meat, and it is high frequency meat. Uh, it is There's a different way of handling it. Now, those civilizations typically also tend to eat meat for one of two reasons. Biologically, they're designed for it, or that they are in a space where they don't have abundance of fruits and vegetables, and so they have to use meat as well. Um, Other species feed off energy. They don't eat anything. They feed off energy. You just give them you give them energy like offerings. When we talk about offerings, you're giving them energy. They'll feed off that energy. And so as long as there's an energy source, could just simply be the sun. As long as they're in the sunlight, they'll charge up, they'll fuel, they'll pull that energy in, and that's their food. That's how they fuel their system. Some do a combination of both. Some are in a space where they're not quite fully into the just feeding on energy, but they're eating, fruits and vegetables and things as well. Some species eat insects and that type of thing. I have a friend, Two Clout, who I telepathically connected with one time, and he was hunting a bug and picked the beetle up and crunched it and was super gross because I could hear and feel and like see it all as I was talking to him. Um, so it just depends on which beings we're talking about. And there was something else. Oh, humans. There are galactic humans and other civilizations that do have restaurants, cafes, those types of things. But they are varied in what they serve. The one that I'm thinking of where Safet lives was um, I believe, vegetarian. I don't know if it was vegan, but I believe most of the world was vegetarian. And no, they're saying vegan. They're saying vegan. Um, but they had restaurants, they had cafes, they had all that stuff. The difference is it didn't have the foods that we have. It didn't have the high acid foods. It had very healthy foods made into dishes like what we would eat too. So at some point, we're probably going to move away from burgers and fries, and the unhealthy stuff that you get at fast food joints. But because we are a culture of those food items, things are going to come to replace them that are going to be vegetarian or vegan alternative options that are healthier. And you'll find that our restaurants will shift, much like some of these other civilizations and planets that have these different types of cultures like ours, they shift to healthier versions of those dishes. And so it'll be like I remember Safet saying like, "Oh, we have things like your burgers and that, but they're not that. They're not animal meat. Like they're all plant-based, fresh, chopped up. You go in, you order it, you walk out. It's fast. You get your meal and go about your day, but it's all healthy food is the key. You have some people that in civilizations that are living off of um I guess the word they want me to use is protein cubes. Protein cubes, like food that has been extracted of all of its nutrients and placed into a cube or a pill and that, and they just eat their daily allotment of whatever this thing is. It's not about enjoyment. It's not about any of that because they don't need that. Uh, and then you do have civilizations that are mechanical too, and so they would not really sit down and eat. They would, I don't know, oil up or something. I guess I have no idea. Maintain their mechanical vessel in some way, but gas up maybe. Um, but most of them eat all the types of food we eat in a variety of capacities for different reasons. And it just depends on the civilization. And so, for those of you interested, I don't know where it's at, but if you scroll down my Instagram, there is a post that has a question mark and a bunch of fruit, and that talks about what some of the galactics have specifically said about eating different things. Some of them want us to eat more plant based veganism. Some of them are like, you can eat meat, but you have to be very careful in how you treat it and how you respect it, and that you need to be the one caring for it and not just buying it from a grocery store. Some of them talk about eating lab grown meat, and they eat lab grown meat because they've figured out how to do it in a way that's beneficial for them, but with the understanding that they are carnivorous races. They are races who their biological system is that of a carnivore. Ours is not. The human body is not a carnivorous body. And you can see that in the jaw shape, how the jaw moves back and forth, not up and down, how we don't have like large, sharp canines and different things, that we were not designed to be carnivores. So we should be eating more plant oriented foods. Um, so it depends on the race and what they'll say with diet. They'll all give their example of I eat XYZ. One will, say I eat plant based. It's okay if you don't. Just eat what's best for you. Eat what's best for you. And that's the key. When it comes to diet, people like to argue about diet and say one thing is better than the other. The thing that I would disagree on is just full carnivoreism. I don't agree with, because biologically, just from a biological standpoint, our design is not that of a carnivore. But most beings would say eat high vibrational fruits and vegetables. And if you're going to eat meat, small portions, and be sure you're the one caring for it, respecting it, um, giving it the proper treatment it deserves, and not just factory farmed types of things. So, food is a divisive topic, but really there is no one answer. It depends on the individual for us and the individual for them. They eat whatever is meant to be eaten depending on their abundance and their biological form. We should be doing the same thing. We are not. We eat what we're told to eat, not what we should be eating. So hopefully that helps. Thank you all. Grateful for each and every one of you. If you're enjoying this content, please visit awakenwithwillow.com, and you can find free books, blogs, spirit art readings, all kinds of different stuff. So thank you, everybody.